Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my very first Go with the Flow vlog. My name is Kajal Patel, and I'm currently a registered nurse in the intensive care unit at Mayo Clinic at the Eau Claire, Wisconsin site. In this first episode, I wanted to share with you my journey towards becoming a nurse, my journey nursing in Alberta, and all of the adventures I had in between to get from Alberta to the Mayo Clinic. Before I start off, I just want to say that I'm not affiliated with the U of A or the Mayo Clinic. And in this video, I want to thank all of my family, my friends, and all of my mentors and preceptors who've played a role in shaping me into the nurse I am today. At the end of this video, you'll also have access to a link from one of my friends, Natasha Rosie, who is a Jay Shetty Certified Life Coach, and you can have a session with her. So please feel free to check that out and watch all the way to the end. Let's get started. Just going to minimize the taskbar. Perfect. So before I get started, I sort of want to share with you what led me to pursue a career in healthcare. So I was inspired to pursue a career in healthcare when I was 6 years old. At the time, my grandma had unfortunately passed away from cancer in Europe. And this was the same time that my family and I were moving to Canada. And this was very shaking for my family. And cancer and heart disease are quite prevalent in my family as well. And as an immigrant to Canada, I witnessed firsthand the challenges that my parents faced in getting formal education and finding employment. So throughout school, I was just very curious and inquisitive, and I was also passionate about building equity and accessibility. And I was looking for ways to give back to my community. So in grade 9, inspired by one of my science teachers, I decided to start volunteering at my local hospital to see what the field of healthcare entailed. And I absolutely loved my experiences at the hospital. I started off volunteering in NICU, PEDS, daycare, Emerge, and eventually I was able to help patients out at the cancer clinic. And this was tremendously rewarding because I had the chance to talk with patients during chemotherapy, shadow oncologists, and also be with all of the optimistic and bright staff there. Later on in grade 11, so when I was 16 years old, I had a chance to work with Dr. Postovit at the University of Alberta as a part of the HIRES program, which is a biomedical research program for high school students. And over 6 weeks in her lab, I researched how hypoxia affected the stem cell-like phenotype of the MCF7 breast cancer cell line. This research was really intriguing, and it sparked my interest in the intersection of science and healthcare. And I knew this is what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And before I kind of delve a little deeper into my nursing journey, I just want to say a big thank you to my dad, who just is a symbol for me of hard work and discipline. Thank you for spending time away from home and doing all of this hard work so we can be where we are at today. And to Mom for all of your kindness, hard work, delicious food, and endless support. This is me with my younger brother, Shub. Shub is starting a new chapter in his journey as well. He's starting medical school at the University of Toronto. So a big good luck to you. And Shub also has a blog channel of his own. So please feel free to check it out if you have some time. And thank you to my grandparents. for showing us endless love and support from the very start. Thanks to all of my extended cousins and family as well. And for Niruba for being a pillar of strength in our family, and courage as well. To Christy Gaki here, and Nicole for being exceptional nurses and inspiring me to come to Mayo. To all of the extended family in Phoenix, Paradada for being the leader of our family. To Jui Mami and Hira Mami for all of your delicious food and being willing to listen to me. To Dhruvi Mami and Cushing for helping me settle down in the United States, and answering all of my questions. To Nina for also being a listener, friend, and rocking it in med school in Chicago, at Loyola. And this is just a quote I loved. You call it chaos, we call it family. Although our family, we all run on our different schedules, at the end of the day, when we reconnect, it's like we find a sense of calm. So I began my nursing journey at the U of A in 2015 when I started my post-secondary education at the U of A. So initially, being from Grand Prairie, which is a smaller city, I moved to Edmonton to pursue the Bachelor of Science in Cell Biology honors program. And just moving away from home was a little bit tough, adjusting to the city life, working with school, and I found this challenging. And in my degree, I was sort of missing the element of connection with individuals. So after my first year of science, I sort of reassessed and talked to a few of my mentors, friends, and colleagues, and decided to switch gears and switch programs to nursing. And looking back now in hindsight, I am so glad that I made this decision. In 2016, then I switched to the U of A collaborative nursing program and moved a little bit closer to home to be with the individuals I loved. So this is a picture of me during my final nursing practicum in the ICU. And this was during peak COVID pandemic time. I was really honored to serve on the front lines in the ICU and collaborate with all of these terrific nurses, very talented individuals, as well as intensivists and other allied staff to provide care for COVID patients and their families. And it was such a special privilege to be a part of the palliative care of these patients. COVID definitely took a detrimental toll on their health and also the mental health of their loved ones. So this is me graduating in 2021. And being the lifelong learner and curious individual that I am, shortly thereafter, I started to pursue perioperative nursing. So I took the perioperative program at MacEwan University to become a scrub and circulating nurse. And I really love the fast-paced, dynamic, and team-oriented environment of the OR, and as well as the high acuity of patients in various specialties, including general surgery, obstetrics, orthopedics, urology, otolaryngology, ophthalmology, and trauma offered at the Grand Prairie Regional Hospital. So this was just me training, and this was me setting up my very first ortho case. A big thank you to my preceptor, Ginger. This was both of us scrubbed into a total hip arthroplasty. my very last day of preceptorship in the OR. Just here setting up for a total knee arthroplasty, and another superb nurse in the OR, Wanda. And while I was in the OR, I also had a chance to shadow my uncle, who is a first assist at the Royal Alex in Edmonton. And here I had the chance to get familiar with the Da Vinci robot. And in the fall of 2022, so after I'd worked in the OR for about a year, I had a chance to connect with my uncle, who is a critical care physician who specializes in anesthesiology and neurology at the Mayo Clinic site in Arizona. And he and I chatted, and he suggested that I come down to shadow him at the Mayo Clinic site in Arizona. And with bright, keen, and eager eyes, I said yes and made my way there to kind of see how healthcare worked in the United States. So while in Phoenix, I shadowed my uncle, Dr. Bhavish Patel, and his partner, Nicole, who is a former ICU nurse at Mayo and who's now working with Navi nurses. And I was able to learn so much. This is one of the ICU beds in Phoenix. While I was there, I also took many adventures. I learned horse riding with Nicole. We went to Cave Creek for a beautiful evening hike. And I also read this book, StrengthsFinder, which was amazing. And I definitely recommend it 100% for anyone who's looking for growth and introspection. So once I got back from Phoenix, I had to share all of my eye-opening experiences with all of my mentors. So this is Cindy, Tracy, and Dina, just a few of the mentors I have amongst many who I've been blessed with. And after my trip, I was hoping to initially pursue an internship at the Phoenix site. However, when I spoke to the leadership team there, they said that since I already had my nursing credentials and my NCLEX, I could have the chance to work at Mayo. So out of curiosity, I just applied to several nursing positions in the Midwest at Mayo. And soon I interviewed to work in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And here I am working in the ICU in Wisconsin here. So in the interim, I really wanted to give back to my community after being a two-time recipient of the Striving for Nursing Excellence bursary. So I joined the Grand Prairie and Area Nurses Committee with all of these fabulous leaders in the nursing practice. And we organized various fundraisers throughout my time with them, including the Festival of Trees, yoga for family and friends. This is us practicing karaoke for the Nurses Week dinner. And this is me with a few of my nursing instructors, Kim Staples, Michelle Turek, Joan Jacobson. Thank you all if you're watching this right now. And a picture of me with one of my phenomenal managers, Amanda Driesbach, on medicine at the Grand Prairie Regional Hospital. Amanda, I just want to say how brilliant you are and how kind and compassionate you are towards your staff, and your dedication and organization is just next level. Thank you, Pri, for being such a bright mental health nurse. To Ruby Auntie for being a mentor and friend. And this is just a clip from the nurses' dinner. And this is all of the beautiful ladies at the nurses' dinner. And shifting a little bit, throughout my nursing journey, while I was in nursing school, I really got deeper into my personal yoga practice and decided to become a yoga teacher. So in 2017, I had a chance to take my Yoga Alliance 225-hour certification with Love Life Hot Yoga under the guidance of Kelda Anderson. And ever since then, I've had a chance to share my passion of yoga with individuals from different walks of life locally at the Eastlink Center in Grand Prairie and internationally as well as an international art of living volunteer. And just connect with individuals with yoga and meditation. And really, in my nursing journey, yoga has allowed me to find self-compassion and a sense of balance after working long hours. Yoga teaches me the importance of being present and providing undivided attention to the individuals whom I interact with. I'm also an avid runner, so this is just me after a long run in my garage. I also enjoy outdoor running. Some funky yoga poses. One of the local yoga studios I went to. This is me doing Shavasana, where I took my yoga teacher training. Yoga outdoors. I really enjoy hiking and spending time outdoors in nature. A big thank you as well to all of my friends who supported me throughout my journey, through all of the ups and downs and all of the times where I felt low, for cheering me up and for always believing in me. Thank you. And coming from an East Indian background, I enjoy really learning about my culture and connecting with different individuals and learning about their culture. So this is a picture of me at my house at the annual Garba celebration that we have in the fall. And while I was kind of waiting on my TN visa and my US nursing licensure, I had a chance to work in the outpatients department. So this was a broad department which included endoscopy, the IV infusion clinic, outpatients, orthopedic ambulatory care, the wound clinic. And it was a very bittersweet ending when I had to say goodbye to all of my fellow colleagues at the end of July. I miss you all. Some souvenirs from the Grand Prairie Regional Hospital, and just closing a chapter at Alberta Health Services and packing for my new journey at Mayo. So after a long 25-hour drive with my mom, I finally made it to Eau Claire, Wisconsin at my very first home. And shortly thereafter, after settling down in Eau Claire, I had a chance to get a special tour of the Mayo Clinic site in Rochester, Minnesota, with my uncle, Dr. Ashok Patel, who is a leader in Rotary, Mayo, and our family, and is a practicing pulmonologist in Rochester at Mayo. And this was the very first statues that I had a chance to see. So this is a picture of Mother Mary Alfred Mose pointing to the direction of the hospital. And she proposed to Dr. William Worrell Mayo that the Sisters of St. Francis were wanting to have a hospital established after the tornado that had swung through Rochester. And she was asking if his sons and himself could provide surgical care there. And this is kind of how Mayo began. This statue is of Dr. William J. Mayo and Dr. Charles Mayo. phenomenal surgeons whose practice brought fame to Mayo and all the pioneering sisters, nurses, and other allied staff who worked with them. And this plaque, it was really cool to see when I entered St. Mary's Hospital. This was the original entrance to the St. Mary's Hospital on September 30th, 1889. This is the Mayo Clinic St. Mary's campus. And to many, Mayo is also another word for hope. Patients visit Mayo from 150 different countries and all of the states, and they get provided next level amazing care. When I first visited, I had a chance to enter through the Gonda building, established by some donors, Leslie and Susan Gonda. And they had just stunning architecture, as you can see here. And this display honors the Franciscan sisters who led the formation of St. Mary's Hospital in 1889 and sort of nourished it till it formed a united medical center with the Rochester Methodist Hospital and the Mayo Clinic, finally in 1986. And as I work as a nurse here, I hope to embody the values that were sort of initiated by these sisters. This here is also in the Gonda building, just a beautiful statue. It's called The Man of Freedom by Ivan Mestrovich. And I'm just going to read a few words from the plaque here. So the Man of Freedom is a powerful depiction of the human desire for independence and self-realization. The subject of freedom was central to the artist, who was imprisoned by the Nazis during World War II. During the creation of this work, he wrote, "To all living beings, and in first place to the main individual freedom is the most precious. To be completely free, not only physically, but spiritually, he must master so much in his own self." The figure stands alone with grace, as you can see, of the dancer's hand, outstretched heavenward and head thrown back. It represents the search for freedom, both by the individual and for the larger human community. This is also the Gonda building. Very inviting, had a piano, beautiful garden, and a view from some of the higher floors of the Gonda building. I loved what this kind of represented. This is kind of like a river where education and healthcare are at the center, and the river disperses into the community, serving all of those who need it. The Gonda building and the Mayo building, me with some beautiful artwork in the Gonda building, and just an amazing quote I found. The Domitilla building, which is an inpatient building with several floors. And in the Domitilla building, I had a chance to round with residents, fellows, and my uncle, and learn about a little bit about pulmonology. This is my uncle, Dr. Patel, with his pulmonary function test book, and with one of his mentors who we serendipitously saw. A few more quotes. I think one of my favorite ones here is, "The glory of medicine is that it is constantly moving forward, that there is always more to learn." I also got a chance to see a few auditoriums where they hold conferences at, where world leaders come to unite to make important healthcare decisions, and also get a tour of the Denny Sanford Pediatric Center. This was a tree which was interactive for patients. And I just love this adorable little exam table. The Edith Graham Mayo Clinic courtyard, the Barry Foundation Center for Spirit, which had a prayer area and a meditation space, and where I also got to practice some meditation. Another amazing quote. We must not forget that happiness is a state of mind, not necessarily of body, and life is what each person believes it to be. The sick man needs faith, faith in his physician, and I also modified it, faith in his nurse. But there also comes a time when faith in a higher power may be necessary to sustain his morale. I had a chance to visit the nursing sim lab and get a behind the scenes special tour with the transport activation team and the flight crew. And really, I just learned how important communication and collaboration were when I saw these hardworking individuals behind the scene. They worked through, once they received a 911 call, they worked through several protocols that they had to follow. And within the 1 year training that they received, they had to remember all of this and redirect all of these calls to several different areas in Mayo. This is the helipad, and just a helicopter arriving on the helipad at the Mary Bry building. Further moving on into the tour, I got to see the Plummer building as well. Dr. Plummer was a leading endocrinologist and engineer who helped to establish the electronic medical record. And currently, this building supports admin and education roles. And sort of ending my tour, I had a chance to visit the sacred St. Mary's Chapel and receive blessings from Hannah and Ryan. Thank you. There are two very caring chaplains here at Mayo. Moving on, I learned some of the integral Mayo Clinic values, including respect, integrity, compassion, healing, rich, and ties, teamwork, innovation, excellence, and stewardship. And the next day, we visited the St. Francis Peace Garden, which is a place of respite for many patients, family, and also staff. And it was cool to see how the Peace Garden embodied all of these Mayo Clinic values. So respect, integrity, compassion, healing, teamwork, innovation, and excellence in stewardship. So this is just Mom and I with Sister Claire of Assisi. Another amazing quote. Ending my tour with my uncle. And as we were on our way out, I had a glance past the Generos building, named after Sister Generos. And this building is dedicated towards mental health. And sort of in a separate area of the city, I got to visit the Mayo Foundation House. And it had a beautiful fountain. the Mayo brothers house, the Plummer house. And while I was in Rochester, I was so blessed to spend time with family and spend time outdoors with our dog Emmy as well. And of course, I had to have ice cream with Mom in Rochester. Another amazing quote. And I was sort of sad leaving Rochester, but happy because I received lots of knowledge to start my new career in Eau Claire. So this is the hospital that I currently work at in Wisconsin. This is me prior to my first shift in the ICU. And just a clip I had to share.
Morning, everyone. I'm getting ready for my very first shift here at Mayo in Wisconsin. I'll be meeting my preceptor today, and we'll be caring for some post-cardiovascular, neurological patients, trauma patients.
I meant to say post-surgical cardiovascular.
Morning.
And this is me with my preceptor in the ICU, Kirsten. Kirsten is very passionate about neuropeds trauma. And my other preceptor, Sarah, I'll have a chance to meet next week. She's super interested in cardiology. And over the next few months, I really hope to make you both proud and hopefully be nominated for a Daisy Award during my time here. I want to thank my nursing manager, Sharon, and my nursing supervisors, Brandy and Sean, as well as the nursing educator, Chelsea, for making my orientation as smooth as possible and for offering me support. And during my downtime here, I've had a chance to spend time outdoors in nature. This is just a beautiful trail behind where I live. Has some train tracks, a beautiful ravine. One of my running trails. And as I pursue my journey here, I really want to lead with a vision of peace and compassion. So as promised, here are the 2 links for a free life coaching session with Natasha Rosie, who is one of my friends and a Jay Shetty certified life coach. Natasha is super passionate about women's health and guiding women towards their best self. I'll also attach a link to this in my video, so feel free to connect with her. And this powerful quote really has resonated with me over the last few months. What I've learned is that growth takes curiosity, curiosity takes courage, and courage takes a willingness to be vulnerable. And this is by Zachariah Thompson. And over the next few months, I hope to welcome all the opportunities which are presented to me. And I realized that that my wings do exist and all I have to do is fly. And in the interim, just go with the flow. Thank you all for listening and supporting my journey. Feel free to check out Natasha's link and see you until next time, where I share my experiences in the ICU and preceptorship with the TSAM model. Take care.